Song Dynasty, 960 to 1279, entered the third period of Chinese music, which coincidentally on some aspects developed in line with European music, such as the beginning of historical attention to folk music. The oldest European folk music score found was from the 11th century using more popular and portable musical instruments. Folk music was more associated with poetry and dance. The emergence of folk music scores was of course inseparable from the development of more mature musical notation methods. The Italian monk Guido, around 991 to 1033, placed the neumes on different colored lines, representing a third interval. This method was the basis of a system that continues to function in modern practice. By this method, Pope John XIX, died 1032, was able to correctly sing a melody he did not know. Then, following the graphical method, refinement of Guido's method set of the duration. Gradually the square shape replaced the neume and the combination of notes was called ligature and provided greater precision of detail. The entry of Chinese music into the third period was marked by the emergence of folk music triggered by economic and trade prosperity in urban entertainment venues, and opera theaters sprang up with varieties of singing arts, storytelling songs, drummed poetry or the first rap music, and so on. Succeeding Sui Dynasty, 581 to 619, and Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907, the music of Song Dynasty evolved into the form of 词调音乐 or melodic poetry music. The development of verse in Tang Dynasty continued until its peak in Song Dynasty. Like Tang Shi, or poetry of Tang Dynasty, Song Ci, or the poetry of Song Dynasty also could be sung. The rhythmical lyrics by Liu Yong, 984 to 1054, were very famous renewal form of poetry. The mood-expressing works of Jiang Kui, 1155 to 1209, can still be found today. A representative work of Guo Chuwang, 1190 to 1260, was 潇湘水云, or sceneria, 潇湘, which was the first scenery genre for 古琴, or the ancient Chinese lyre. My videos of the first and second periods of this series have introduced this 古琴. There are composers today who are interested in singing Song Dynasty poetry, such as the album 淡淡幽情 or The Touch of Romance, 1983, which was sung by Deng Lijun or Teresa Deng, 1953 to 1995. Composer Hildegard von Bingen, 1098 to 1179, and Periton, 1160 to 1230, from the European medieval era, around 500 to 15th century, pioneered many musical forms that are still recognized today, one of which is motet, which is a word vocal composition. Notre Dame Cathedral was opened in 1163 with two famous composers, namely Leonin, 1135 to 1201, and Periton. They started using clear tempo rhythms. Polyphonic also entered the stage of triads. With the northern region was colonized, Song Dynasty moved to the south, 1127. Quanzhou in the south became a recreational destinations for scholars, so southern music developed, inheriting the characteristics of the great songs of Tang Dynasty. Meanwhile, 诸宫调, our ancient Chinese rhythm for many, flourished in the northern colony occupied by Qing Kingdom with 西厢记诸宫调, or Western Chamber Chronicles as the most famous 诸宫调, composed by 董介元, 1190 to 1208. Yuan opera of Yuan Dynasty, 1271 to 1368, with a standard structure in the north flowed to the south, mixed with southern opera and southern folk music, which was not limited by the rules of court music, and developed into big opera with various organizations and forms. Finally, opera from Wenzhou area, or also known as Yongjia opera, appeared, which was natural and rich. The mature South opera has forms of solo, duet, chorus and so on.
永乐大曲
or collection of opera
永乐
also recorded several Southern operas of this era. The famous
六大家
or the Big Six of
Yuan
famous opera composers were
关汉卿
1225 to 1320 with his work
窦娥冤
or Injustice on
窦娥
and
单刀会
or Single Machete Meeting
白仆
1226 to 1306,
郑光祖
1260 to 1320,
马致远
died 1321,
王实甫
1260 to 1307, with his work
西厢记
or Chronicle of the Western Chamber, and
乔吉甫
1280 to 1345, whereas
温州
opera works included
拜月亭
or Moon Worship Hall and
琵琶记
or Chronicle of.
琵琶
These scripts are still being performed today. In Yuan Dynasty, the development of Southern music was mature. Although based on Northern music, Southern music began to have different courses from Northern music, with Northern music being predominantly heptatonic with heroic traits, while Southern music being dominated by pentatonic with gentle. Since then, Chinese music began to vary based on its local characteristics, with more emphasizing on respective melodic patterns together with their ways of the music playing was manipulated.
杨子
1260 to 1327, created
海盐
or sea salt style vocal opera in
泉州
Again, the characteristics of
海盐
opera were distinguished from others by its melodic patterns, with the ways of the music playing was manipulated. With the development of North and South operas, it was published for the first time books of
唱论
or a special compilation of theory of opera singing by
叶南
Temple, and
中原音韵
or Chinese phonology by
周德清
1277 to 1365. This
中原音韵
was the first Northern rhythm tone book which divided the Northern language into 4 different types of tonal letters, namely
阴平
or negative flat,
阳平
or positive flat,
上升
or rising sound, and
去声
or
去
sound. The book had a profound impact on phonological research and the future development of opera music recitation. That was during this
Yuan
Dynasty,
三弦
or 3-string guitar was known for the first time. Although the third period of Chinese music did not over yet in
Yuan
Dynasty, I'll for now end this video at this point, and will continue in the next video in this series by entering into
Ming
Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. The development of European music also entered the Renaissance era, 1450 to 1600, which was preceded by the Ars Nova era, 14th century to 1450, where in parallel the development of Chinese music and European music led to secularism. That's all, and thank you for watching.